Hey everybody, we're here. No intro. How are you?
Whoa, I'm good. That was abrupt.
I'm trying to get some of those people who just click off to keep listening.
You know what's cool? We could have
So tell me your best thing right now.
we
Go.
could have just rolled off of like what we were just talking about. Like
Yeah.
I feel like those are the podcasts that kind of open up like that. I like that.
I know.
We're still awkward at this thing.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing that I've been thinking about. Are you comfortable with like actually distributing the podcast? We don't distribute this podcast.
What do you mean actually distributing it?
So it's on a bunch of channels. It's on YouTube. It's on Anchor. It's on Apple. It's on Spotify. It's on all the major stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't push it, which is probably maybe why our growth isn't as big. Now, mind you, I'm happy with where we're at. Kind of, not really. But I think that if we were to start like making Facebook posts and like driving people to the podcast, because we don't even do like, hey, new episode of the podcast is up on Instagram. Like we don't do that
Just
anymore.
a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it depends on what our goals for this podcast are.
No, yeah, I think it's a good idea. And like we promote it here and there. I think it's a question of how do we balance it in with the other stuff we want to promote.
Yeah, because this isn't a marketing podcast.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily on brand.
And we've got so many things that we need to talk about on our Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, where do you fit it in? I don't know. I think a little bit is okay.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to go down the road of doing like a separate account for it.
No.
At least not yet.
No. So
I don't know. I think here and there is okay.
yeah,
But
like it's less than here and there though.
yeah. I mean, like for the friends and family followers, they get something out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, look for a promo after this episode goes out.
Whoa.
Tomorrow.
Whoa. Yeah. Maybe we'll start putting it out on Facebook and LinkedIn.
We'll give you a little reminder.
Mm-hmm. Give you a little nudge.
You don't mean actually dropping it on Facebook and LinkedIn, do you?
We dropped our first episode on Facebook.
Yeah.
And that got like hundreds of views.
Yeah.
And I know that there's another local podcast. To my knowledge, this is the only other local one, which is the 3 Beer Pod.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a radio personality that co-hosts it. And I know they do Facebook exclusively, I believe. Like that's where
That's it?
and they go live.
That's kind of cool.
They get quite a few people watching, and they have some pretty big guests too.
Yeah. I saw
They've had an astronaut on.
Mm-hmm.
We need an astronaut on our podcast.
Chris Hadfield.
Yeah.
He's already done it.
Yeah.
Find someone else.
Elon.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think
Can you
about posting
imagine?
directly to Facebook?
If Elon was on our podcast right now, what would you ask him? One question. Go.
Oh, man, that's hard. So what are you doing in Chatham? You building a factory here?
No. No.
I heard
not
somebody
like,
just bought an old factory lot.
Not like that. Not like that.
No, I don't know. I'd ask him, like, what do you think some of the biggest problems are? Like, what he's most looking forward to just in the world? What about you?
Probably something along those lines. It's always funny too, like people that are celebrities or influencers. I heard somebody call themselves an influencer on social. Oh, it's cringe.
Really? I mean, it is though. Like, it's your official
Such a
term.
gross word. I influence people.
Yeah. Everybody's an influencer when you think about it.
Yeah, that's all we all do.
Professional influencer. I mean, how else do you brand that though?
I'm just a human being because that's what we are, and that's what I wanted to get to. Why do
You're
we?
a human being, but you identify by your career. If somebody asks you what you do.
Yeah, but why do we treat celebrities and stuff like as if like they're this untouchable human? Isn't that interesting?
Probably because we don't have the direct contact with them. So we
Maybe.
put them on a pedestal.
Yeah.
But then once you
I've
get
always
to know
found
them,
that weird because we're all just humans.
Yeah.
So
I mean, their close family and friends don't think of them like that.
no, they don't.
For us, it's like part of the mystery of what you don't know about a person.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Elon Musk, the SEC hates how he has influence
Oh, dude.
because there's all that like regulatory gray area of tweeting influencing a stock price or influencing Dogecoin or whatever.
Yeah, he's been a big proponent of Dogecoin's growth. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say so. I sold that a little too early.
Yeah. What do you think of people using their influence, for lack of a better word, to promote investments? Because Twitter is enormous for that.
It's the modern version of a hedge fund.
Yeah.
They've been doing it forever, man.
Yeah.
You know, like I think, keep up. So that's going to be an interesting thing to watch over the next few decades. The people are really going to be the ones like dictating the markets and stuff, because we found places on Reddit and we found places on Twitter where you can talk about this stuff and actually manipulate how everything works.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
And open source is good too. Like some investment firms are even going like open source with their research, which is like a page out of Silicon Valley's book, where they'll share their research on social media, share it with other investment companies.
Yeah.
Just because the more the merrier, and the idea is to like build on one another's ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But traditionally that was not the case. Everything was really secretive.
Yep.
But now, like, if you can crowdsource research to your audience, and some of them are pretty bright, and a lot of them have great ideas, and you can use that to help your research, like, I think that's really cool. And it probably outweighs the benefit of keeping like your good secrets to yourself or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just think about the amount of people that have started investing in stuff in the last year or so, because of like the Wall Street bets.
Oh, that was
and all that stuff.
A major
And
moment.
then you've got your Wealth Simples, your Quest trades, your Robin Hoods that make everything so easy and seamless to get into the markets. It's wild. Like probably like we've never seen this type of thing before.
Yeah, people are definitely taking more accountability for their own investment. Like one generation ago, you'd probably have like a professional help you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not the same, right? Like executing a trade on the stock market for free or for $5 or for whatever it is. It used to mean like calling your broker, paying $100.
Yep.
Maybe you have access to options, and now 18-year-olds are getting access to them. It's interesting.
It's just the beginning.
I'm more interested in like the idea of the open source research and being able to just find info easier than ever.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of a couple Instagram reels on this. People, and it just comes up in my Discover feed or whatever when I'm doing a little scroll sesh. But there's these reels of kids showing what CEOs of companies are trading, and you can go in and see what they're trading and what they're buying.
Yeah.
You know about that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's interesting. And when did that become a thing?
Well,
is it for publicly traded companies? Like,
yeah, that's like that's just a rule of GAAP accounting.
Okay.
The public companies and also investment firms, including hedge funds.
Mm-hmm. You can go in and see what the CEO and the CFO are trading.
Yeah. I think it's called an H something filing.
Okay.
But you can go through and you can see the adjustments that they make.
And anybody can.
Over the quarter. Anybody can what?
Anybody can go and look at that. I don't need to pay for wow.
Yeah, anybody with internet access. Or even just like something as simple as getting like financial statements from companies.
Yeah.
Last week I told you I was looking forward to the big like earnings season from a lot of the big tech companies. Those are on Google.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's always been publicly available to shareholders, but you don't have to like mail the company and get in contact with them.
You don't have to wait for your thing after 2 weeks.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. You get live access to the press release, which was originally only available to stakeholders in the company, right? You can attend that live on Zoom or whatever it is. You can see the reports as soon as they come out. You can do your research, figure out what other people on the internet are saying about the company's reports.
Yeah.
Like it's so much easier to inform yourself now.
Would you say that investing in business is kind of like your sport?
Yeah, I like
you know how guys are like really into sports?
Yeah. I always tell you making money is a team sport.
Yeah. No, but seriously though, and I gravitate towards that too. Like I don't like sports. Like I like UFC, and martial arts. Like that's been something I've been enjoying watching. But I don't do the betting. I don't have like a draft.
Yeah.
I don't do that. Like a lot of people are really, really into sports, and I just can't. I don't know. I really like business. It's interesting how people have like what they're into.
Everybody's got a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do think it's important to respect hobbies that don't make money, because I think almost our culture is shifting so quickly toward like that everything has to be a hustle. Everything has to be a grind. That like,
shifting, we're already there.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, this is just like late stage gig economy where if you're not making money, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And, I too think about that all the time. I tell myself like, life is a game. You choose how you want to play it. It's like a free player game. You can go around and do whatever you want. You can spend your time on the mini games and on the side quests. Like if you want to play golf, or that's a side quest and that's great. And it can become the main gig if you really focus on it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I keep thinking like I'd rather play the money game right now.
Yeah.
They're all interesting though. But it's also important to take time to do things that aren't geared toward making you more money if you like them.
So what's one thing that you do that isn't geared towards making more money?
Like just chilling, hanging out, spending time with your friends, exercising, family, anything. But I mean, like, if you like painting and you're never going to go pro, own it. Who cares?
Yeah.
If it makes you happy, like that.
And if your art is shitty enough, people will actually pay for it.
Maybe.
They will. Somebody will.
NFT market is losing steam pretty quickly right now.
Is
I
it?
don't know if you saw that. Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Some of the blue chips,
Yeah.
like the NFT
Like your
artist
Beeples?
blue chip equivalents are down like 50%.
Wow.
Like the CryptoPunks and Beeples and everything like that.
Down 50%?
Yeah, some of them. But I mean, there was just so much enthusiasm going into that market
Yeah.
early. I don't know. Who knows how sustainable that could have been.
Yeah.
I think it's healthy. Have a healthy correction and then let the interest in NFTs build slowly, because I think they're here for the long term. But
I think so. It makes sense.
Some of those prices right out of the gate.
70 million.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I'm more interested in like late stage application. Like, when is my plane ticket going to be an NFT? Or when can I go to like a Blue Jays game?
Yeah.
And the NFT assigns my seat or something like that.
Yeah.
Or an NFT lottery or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I think those kind of distribution applications are really cool.
That's one sport I don't understand is baseball.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But anyway.
We were just talking about soccer baseball before this.
Yeah, we were.
That was a fun game.
You guys remember soccer baseball?
That got you going.
What was the one with the big mats?
Mats?
Was that soccer baseball? Not the big
they're-
mats, but they had like the things that you jump onto. They act as bases.
Well, soccer baseball, they have plates, but they're just normal plates.
Okay.
I don't know what big mats you're talking about.
Maybe that was a different
I love
game.
those weird elementary school games that are designed by like people who design curriculums.
Mm-hmm.
They just come up with games for the kids to play.
Yeah.
I don't know who made up soccer baseball, but that one takes the cake for me.
That was a good one.
That was the best elementary school.
That was a good one.
Some people call it kickball. I think that's an
Kickball.
American thing.
Kickball. Yeah.
Kids
Yeah.
these days don't play kickball.
No, they don't.
They just trade NFTs.
So I did I did a little hobbyist photography yesterday, which I haven't done in a long time.
Ooh.
Used to do it all the time before we made money. Our friend Cam, who also does some editing for us. We went
He
out.
showed me those photos. Great photos, by the way. I don't know if they were your photos or if they were Nick's, but I really like them.
They were probably Cam's. But anyway, we went out and he wanted to shoot video. And I
Right.
was like, I don't really feel like shooting video, but I'll shoot some behind the scenes stuff for you. So that was fun. It was a good time.
How did the clips turn out?
They look nasty.
So is there like a story behind the video, or
Cam's just trying to build out his
is
portfolio.
our friend on a motorcycle?
Yeah. He's trying to build out his portfolio.
Right.
So he's just doing like free stuff right now. There's kind of a story to it, I guess. Like we started in the garage and then we head out downtown and we got the trunk of the car open. He's hanging out the back kind of stuff. So
Yeah. Just building up your portfolio.
yeah.
Yeah. Great piece of advice. Like, there's always a way to get content in your portfolio. Free work, Cam gets it. That's what we had to do. Not only does it put something on your portfolio that you can show for yourself, but it helps you build a connection with the companies.
Yeah.
Because what starts as free work can turn into paid work.
Yep.
Never be afraid to reach out and offer your services for free. I don't necessarily think that it devalues you as a creator. I think you have to be careful, because I understand that's a reason that a lot of people don't want to do it. But I think if you can put your ego aside and acknowledge that your work is valuable, but you're giving somebody a gift in hopes that they see the value in it, I think that's the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you were in school and studied it professionally, that's your portfolio too. A lot of people don't count that in their portfolio. But it helps, because the thing that turns us off the most about working with somebody new, even if we have a good rapport and we think we like them, if you don't have a lot in your portfolio, it's just hard for us to know how capable you'd be of doing a different project. If you have a lot and we can kind of extrapolate, okay, they've done these things in the past, maybe they can help us with this extra project, it's easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, little tidbit for young creators.
Mm-hmm. If you're a creator and you watch or listen to this.
So what do you like doing that doesn't generate money? Do you have any hobbies like that?
Love walking my dog.
Yeah, great.
Hanging out with friends.
Yeah.
Exercise. Hanging out with my wife. Went to the beach. Swam. I went in the water.
Yeah, it's cold.
It was cold. It was cold.
What was the temperature?
I don't even know, but it was cold, man.
How
I was the
warm
only
was
one
it
in.
out?
I was the only one in.
Yeah.
It was 20 degrees in Erio.
Deceptive.
Yeah.
Because you think it's going to be not that bad.
It was cold.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was the earliest I've ever been in. But
Like earliest in the year?
Yeah.
Yeah, May 1st. That's
I was
crazy.
probably, when I was younger, I might have went in April. It's cold, but I'm a beach boy.
When I went to a summer camp back in the day, there was this thing called polar dip.
Yep.
Where you had to wake up early and go swim in the lake, and you get this little badge or whatever after. So cold.
Did you do it?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
You'd have to go.
Little Wim Hof.
Yeah. It's supposedly good for your nervous system.
Yeah.
Back then, I just wanted the little badge with a polar bear on it. But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
I don't do it often now. Like take a cold shower. I used to make myself do it sometimes. Kind of fell out of it.
Yeah.
I got to start reading about the benefits again. Convince myself
They're good.
I can't afford to miss it.
They're good. My leg pain went away
Really?
after I got out. And I was in, first time I jumped in, got right out, and then I went back in.
Yeah.
And I stayed in the water for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I got out, and my leg pain was, because I ran the other day, my leg pain was significantly reduced.
I know there's some mixed opinions. Like some people say it's good to exercise your nervous system and it's a shock to your nervous system. Some people say it can be too traumatic unless you do it for like a short period of time or depending on how cold it is.
Well, this wasn't like freezing
Yeah.
water.
Obviously there are extremes that would
Yeah.
hurt you, but
Yeah.
you got to find a balance.
You know, cutting a hole in a lake when it's frozen over, then jumping in, like that's pretty crazy.
Oh man, that'd be tough. That's one of my worst fears is
Falling
getting
through the
stuck
ice.
under the hole.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That would suck.
You know, you can just see the ice and
And like if
Oh,
somebody's
man.
there, like you can just see them and they can't get out.
there's no way they could dig a hole fast enough.
That's just not something I don't think I would do. Because unless it's like a super flat lake, there's a current, right? And so when
Yeah.
you go into the water, even though there's a hole in the ice, you can get sucked back under.
Yeah.
So
Maybe if there were like several people there, some of them were professionals or something.
Yeah.
I'd think about it, but yeah, just doing that for fun on like a
Mhm.
weekend.
no,
Nah,
no.
man.
So what are you
Not
looking
worth it.
forward to this month?
This month? Well, we were just talking about some projects. But yeah, what am I looking forward to? We've got a big video deal. We're doing rebranding, which I personally have a lot of fun with. Those.
Times 2.
Yeah, 2 rebranding.
This is two rebrands this year.
Yeah, I like helping companies rebrand. That's one of my favorite things to do. So we've got that. That's pretty fun. And no like specific items, more so than the fact that I'm just happy with like the trajectory we're moving in right now. You know what I mean? I think we're in a comfortable space. Pace of work is steady. We've got a nice balance between one-off projects and monthly retainer clients, which makes me happy. Yeah. What about you?
It's May, baby. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Getting in the flow with our editor. We're getting in
Yeah,
the
we've been
flow.
working with a few new people. That's really good.
Noticing the margins changing a little bit as we grow, but
Mhm.
that's okay because as we grow and we can get more people to help us out, then we can bring on more things and do more things. So
For sure.
it's a net positive. Looking forward to a few video projects. Some of them have been in the works for the last couple of months, just trying to get them organized. Trying to stay on top of everything. Some things fall through the cracks. But yeah.
Yeah, that is a enormous part of this business.
Yeah.
It's just logistics and correspondence and scheduling with people. It's insane.
Yeah.
You know, like you have clients who all have different deadlines. We're trying to cater to all of them. And then there's last minute cancellations and other things come up and you want to keep saying yes to new projects.
Mhm.
It's a balancing act.
It is.
It's like Tetris. You got to figure out where to fit them in.
It is. Yeah.
But it's fun. Yeah, we're in a good spot right now.
Mm-hmm. Life's good. That's really all I got, man. I don't know. How long have we been going at this thing? 22 minutes? Something like that?
Oh, you know what I heard? Last week we were talking about the new Apple products.
Yeah.
So they had a mind-blowing quarter.
Yeah?
It was unbelievable. They just announced it probably, I think, like the night or the day after we had that podcast. So this is their previous quarter. This doesn't include any of the products that we talked about last week. But year over year, they increased their revenues by 50%. This is an all-time record-breaking quarter for Apple, for any tech company.
Holy shit.
Printed $100 billion in 3 months.
It's a lot of zeros.
50% over last year. And by the way, last year, people were ecstatic about Apple's earning reports because of all of the pandemic-related purchases. and all the work from home purchases. So that's the year-over-year quarter that they're comparing against, and they're still up 50%.
I heard Amazon was supposed to do a stock split.
Really? It's possible.
That'd be nice for people trying to get in.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Anyway, that's crazy about Apple, but I'm not surprised, dude. Their business model is so crazy. Like the amount of services they have now, they're still bringing out new products. They're working on that car, right?
I think so.
Wild.
That's super under wraps. So
super under wraps, but still, they're just like constantly like innovating and launching new shit.
They've got a wide, deep moat. They have the membership community, which attracts new people.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing, right? You know, they, for every additional person who joins the Apple ecosystem, it's a marginal increase of benefit to every single other person with an iPhone, which is crazy. And that's not slowing down.
Yeah. Not
to mention all of the content that they own on the App Store. It's wild.
They're kicking Intel in the nuts.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
And I think you were asking me, do I think smartphones last longer these days? And I think they totally do. And you can see Apple kind of thinking about how to adjust for that in their business model. And we see a reflection in like more service-based sales as opposed to product-based sales. So you see a bigger percent of their sales coming from services. Yeah. But it's still a vast majority product because they are the king of product. It makes me wonder what these new products that we talked about last week, like the new Macs and stuff, what they're going to do to the bottom line.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That'll be interesting. I don't know. I haven't really went on and watched a lot of people's opinions on the new stuff. I think that the AirTags are going to be a hit.
For sure. Yeah.
Right. It's like $39.
It's affordable.
People can go get them, right? And even AirPods are borderline affordable.
You just need an iPhone, right?
Yeah. And most people, you already have the iPhone. Yeah. I think the AirTags will go over well. Based on what I've watched, like the reviews on the iMacs, the new iMacs, either you like them or you don't.
Yeah.
Right now, that's all I can gather on that. But I can't remember the last time I was excited by an iPhone. So
that's true. Probably the iPhone 10, maybe.
Probably that jump from the 8 to the 10.
That was a big one.
Yep. And then the 4 to the 5 was big. The 6 was big.
Yeah. I remember I was pretty apprehensive about the 6.
Yeah, you were.
It looks weird. It still doesn't look like a great phone to me.
Yeah.
It's probably one of my least favorite phones in hindsight.
Yeah.
The 4, though, that was a phone.
Yeah. Do you have a 4? You still have a 4,
I have a 4,
right?
Yeah.
Which one did you skip? You had the 4. What did you have? What was your iPhone lineup?
I had a 5.
5?
I had a 6. I had a 7. I had a 7 and then I skipped a few. And then I got a 10. 10S. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got a 12.
Yeah. Interesting. Which ones people skip, which ones people...
Yeah. I mean, it just depends when you bought the last one, really.
I remember when the iPhone 7 Plus came out.
Right.
And with that new camera bump, that was wild.
Yeah.
Sarah got that one.
And you know what? You mentioned, like, you don't remember the last time you got excited about an iPhone? I almost wonder if it's intentional. Because people criticize Apple for things like planned obsolescence. But what about, like, intentional withholding of features?
Of course there's some of that.
Right, because
that
I
makes
think
sense.
For Apple, it would be an absolute nightmare to have a blowout phone. Because good luck competing with it the year after.
Yeah.
Do you remember how salty people were about the phone that came out after the 10?
Yeah.
It's like, listen, this is a great phone. In fact, it's a better phone. It's just we gave you so many changes the previous year.
Yeah.
This one's going to pale in
No,
comparison.
that's true. That's true. And then they almost let Samsung and the Huawei's and all them like do the crazy standout stuff. But Apple's much more conservative on what they put in their phones.
Yeah.
They want to make sure it's good.
Apple gets free trial and error from other companies implementing like the crazy features like cameras under the screens, bio recognition. They do all that stuff first. Yeah. And then Apple comes in once it's kind of been perfected more or less or fit into their way. Then they just sell it.
When you said bio recognition, I just imagine somebody just spitting on their phone. It's me.
That is not COVID safe. I think I wonder if they're going to bring back touch to unlock instead of facial recognition.
The Samsung or whatever has it under the screen.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I think if they could find a way to do it seamlessly, like in the post-mask world, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do long term. But yeah, imagine this. Because like they also have to keep their investors happy, a company like Apple. So imagine if they release the blowout iPhone, they give you all the features you've been asking for, they throw in the extra charger, they give you all the stuff,
All the headphones.
everything. It makes everybody happy, and then what happens the year after?
Mm-hmm. They have to keep up with that, make it even better.
Right. So they want to make sure that their growth is growing, consistently.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to withhold things whenever they need a little bit of a buffer, fill in some extra features. Like, I was asking myself last week, they released a purple iPhone.
Yes.
So this iPhone came out 6 months ago, and then they came and released the purple one. And I was just thinking, why? And I'm not being facetious, because this is a highly calculated company,
Mm-hmm.
and every decision they make has rationale behind it. And I think it's interesting, why release one color of a phone that came out 6 months ago? And it's free marketing.
Yeah.
And it just refreshes the product cycle.
Yeah.
In this world of smartphones where you have to compete with Samsung releases and everybody else, why not just 6 months later send your customers a quick little reminder, hey, this exists.
Hey, here's a purple one.
Here's an extra color. You think it's cool?
We have a bunch of other colors. Go check it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty wise. But yeah, a stock split would be cool from Amazon.
From Amazon, yeah.
Apple did one this summer.
I know.
Tesla did one as well.
Yep.
Yeah, it's totally arbitrary.
Mm-hmm.
The company can do it whenever they want. I think the company would be motivated by liquidity reasons. You want to let investors enter and exit your company
Yeah.
more efficiently. But some companies share the opposite approach, right? And we see the U.S. administration looking at increasing capital gains tax for short-term investments only, like investments under 5 years or investments under 10 years, to incentivize long-term holding.
Yeah.
Which I think is a fantastic idea. But also when companies require liquidity, there's a need for that too. So it's kind of like a balancing act.
Yeah.
It's also so tricky because this summer, Tesla and Apple have their stock splits, and in anticipation of the news, even though it means nothing on paper, both the stocks jump. They jump in price because people
Mm-hmm.
get excited, because it means they anticipate the company's going higher, so they want to split up the stocks, make the price easier. And I think as a company, it's just more of a hassle than anything, because if you split your stock, they get artificially inflated by hype, and then you have to explain why your stock price took a hit the month after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it comes back down. Yeah.
It's such a short-term mentality,
Mm-hmm.
and having so many younger investors in the market doesn't
Mm-hmm.
help. Everybody's all about get in, get out.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes me interested in a long-term capital gains tax incentive.
Oof. Okay.
Where if you want to be a swing trader, you get taxed at a heavier rate than
That's interesting.
if you were to hold 10 years plus.
Yeah.
You really have to have more conviction on your investments too.
Are they talking about that
Yeah.
in the U.S.?
Yes.
Wow.
You wouldn't necessarily get so excited about a GameStop if you were incentivized about only companies you want to hold for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you'd stick to your Apple and this or that.
Would you ever move to the States?
Yeah, sure. I'm not against it.
Mm-hmm. Where would you go?
I don't know if I could just choose based on climate or
Like everything as a whole.
yeah.
Climate and taxation. Those are the two main pillars.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it depends how practical we're trying to be.
Okay.
In a perfect world where I can just make any decision, it's very overrated, but there's a reason why everybody lives in California.
Yeah.
It is one of the best places to live.
Mm-hmm.
Tax and governance aside, and wildfires aside,
Mm-hmm.
and homelessness aside. I know there's a mass
It is
exodus.
one of the best places to live.
Yeah, listen, I understand this is the most ironic year to call California, in particular Los Angeles, a good place to live. But at the end of the day, there are only a few places in the whole world that get that kind of temperament year round.
Oh, dude, it's insane.
It's
insane.
If you go to Asia, it's humid. If you go to the desert, you might die, and anywhere else is too cold.
And if you go to England, yeah, it's raining.
Yeah, there are a few
Go to
places.
the UK, it's pretty crazy. Russia, who knows?
Yeah.
It's probably snowing.
I like California.
California's nice.
My family spends a lot of time in Florida, which is really cool. Miami is really on the rise. I was making fun of one of our buddies this weekend who talked about living in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you don't want to go there.
No.
No offense to Miami, but the joke is, if you want to starve in Miami, open a bookstore, because no one there reads. But their mayor, Francis Suarez, I think, is really pro-tech and pro cryptocurrency and pro banking. So we see some of the hedge funds and some of the investment banks are opening up headquarters in Miami now. Some of the tech companies are considering it. Miami's become the first city in the U.S. to give their employees the option to take payment in cryptocurrency.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think they're going to start doing some of the municipalities like accounting processes with cryptocurrency.
Cool.
So the mayor's really awesome, and a lot of governors from other states are looking to Miami as an example.
Yeah.
But like all that cool stuff aside, it's known as like just the place to party and
Like the
drink and get
the home of
sunburned.
bath salts too. I remember the like bath
Oh,
salts
really?
originated.
Well, you know the
there.
Florida man meme, right?
Yeah.
Florida's a very my family spends a lot of time in Florida. Florida's a very divided place.
Yeah.
There's very much like a haves and
Yeah.
have-nots kind
There
of
is.
dynamic there.
There is. Texas is getting quite big too. A lot of people are moving to Texas.
Absolutely. Where's the new spot? Austin.
Utah. People are moving to Utah.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
That seems like kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
A lot of people are moving to Utah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I totally
Nevada.
get it.
A lot of people are moving to Nevada.
Yeah. I would take Utah over Nevada any day. Nevada's way too hot for me.
Yeah, it's pretty hot
I
there.
couldn't live in Arizona or New Mexico.
Arizona's beautiful too. But
Beautiful.
It is hot.
Could
It
not
is
live
hot.
there.
It is hot.
Yeah. What state would you pick if you had to pick a state?
Imagine if I said Michigan.
Yeah. Listen, I love out east. It's a little too cold.
Oh, Halifax and all that?
Well, I'm talking like a little bit warmer, like Rhode Island.
Okay,
Connecticut
New
kind of
York.
thing.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
If you don't want it to be super hot all the time, which I kind of like too.
Probably Texas.
Really?
Get a nice piece of land.
Yeah.
Live out my day on a ranch.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Chatham's getting its own Texasification right now in terms of like increase in population.
Yeah, there's a guy
increase
that
in development.
ironically enough, there's a guy from Texas that just moved here, and he's opening a barbecue place.
So it feels like Texas.
In Charing Cross.
Wow.
Yeah.
Barbecue from a real Texan.
Yeah.
That's probably
Apparently
gonna
he has
slap.
the accent and everything.
That's probably gonna slap.
Yeah, it's probably gonna slap. It's probably gonna go over really well.
I remember when I was little, I was on vacation with my family somewhere in America, and I saw like a true cowboy, like a guy with like the gallon hat, and he had a belt buckle bigger than I've ever seen. And I'm like 7, and I just can't stop staring at his belt buckle. And my parents had to be like, "Stop looking at it."
Yeah.
I'd never seen a Texan in the flesh.
Yeah.
With like the spurs on the boots.
Oh
and
yeah.
just living.
Yeah, so I want to meet this guy.
What guy? The Texan who owns the
This
barbecue?
Texan barbecue boy.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Charing Cross in the cafe?
Yeah, they went out of business.
Right, gotcha.
Rip.
Yeah. That's a big one, especially for you.
What do you mean?
Well, it's kind of your old hood.
No. I'm a few kilometers south of that. Not Cedar Springs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I drive through there every day.
Yeah.
That commute sucked.
You don't miss it.
I don't miss that, but I also miss living outside of the city. Not that it's like a big city and shit, but I do miss living out in the country.
You got to find a balance.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it's like, if you always want to have an office separate from your house, how far do you want to go every day?
Maybe I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe just build a barn. Walk
It's
in
tough.
my backyard.
It's tough because I love the work from home premise, but you can't do everything. You can do 90%, sure, but you can't do everything.
Yeah.
There's still got to be time for the face-to-face, at least for now, I think.
Yep.
It does depend what you're doing. I know some jobs can be fine completely remotely.
Mm-hmm.
So Texas.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a top 3?
California will be third.
Okay. Fair.
Because I agree on the weather and shit, but their taxes and stuff are pretty insane.
Yeah.
And their housing prices are pretty wild if you want to live anywhere.
If I had to be
if you wanna live
practical,
anywhere
I would
cool.
not choose California. I'd choose somewhere on the East Coast.
Okay, well, if we're not talking practicality, then yeah, probably California.
Yeah.
But then Texas. Connecticut's nice. Florida has such a stigma, but I'll do Florida.
Yeah. Florida can be nice.
Maybe Puerto Rico.
Yeah. There's a lot of like old Southern Republicans in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of gators.
A lot of gators.
Get ready for seeing gators block roads, gators on the golf course, gators in your backyard, gators in your pool. It is insane how almost like domesticated and comfortable the gators are around people in Florida.
And they're dinosaurs, dude.
Oh, it's unbelievable. They're prehistoric.
Yeah.
You take one look at one and there's no mistaking that that's a prehistoric monster designed to kill.
Imagine if.
And swim.
Now imagine if.
And they just sunbathe on
Imagine if one could fly.
No.
No.
I refuse.
Frick that, man. We don't need dinosaurs right now. The world's a little crazy enough.
Yeah, seriously.
Our friend had a really interesting view on the lockdowns and stuff, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit because I didn't actually think about it this way because I'm not a lawyer. I did go to school for political science. Honestly, didn't learn.
Exposed.
Didn't what? Friend was not exposed.
Okay, I just made the connection.
I did go to school for political science, but I didn't learn that much. So his view on all of this, and I'm not going to say his name, although when I was telling the story this last week, and I totally outed it anyway. His view on this is that when we're in times of emergency and stuff like that, our Charter of Rights and Freedoms kind of go out the window because the government ultimately has the power to do whatever they want to do. And that kind of makes sense. And we don't like it because it's a big change for us. Our parents don't like it because they've never had to experience anything like that. But if you go a generation before them and the generations after that, they've experienced that during the war and things like that. And I think it's interesting. And it makes you question, because I'm sure at one point or another, maybe you've been like, oh my gosh, we're going into a tyranny. We're going into a dictatorship.
Yeah.
And I think that that's kind of humbling to know that they do that and then they come out of it and it's not a forever thing. And I think a lot of people are scared that this is going to be what it is forever. But it was nice to hear that, this has happened in the past. The odds of it actually becoming like a dictatorship and all of our worst fears is probably not the case, and that governments do this in times of disaster.
Yeah.
And I didn't look at it that way. And I'm glad that he...
it's true, though.
Mm-hmm.
I do see it from both sides. I can understand both arguments. Like, we run very little risk of being drafted.
Yeah.
Right? That would be pretty scary. Our parents never got drafted.
Yeah.
My grandparents got drafted. Some of our grandparents got drafted. We never had to deal with the possibility of that. But on the and that's valid. I know that, in times of crisis that is a possibility. But on the other hand, I think a lot of the criticism comes not from the fact that we're in a pandemic and we need to surrender some of our rights, but just like a critique of the mismanagement of the pandemic. Like, we all understand that there's going to be a time where we have to sacrifice for the greater good, but it just feels dumb if your sacrifice seems like it's in vain because things keep going on, yet the lockdowns continue.
Yeah, the lockdown argument.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, if you told me, like, with absolute certainty, if I had to, like, bend the knee and follow the lockdown order for X amount of time to guarantee that it would be an effective solution, then sure. Right, but just to know that we don't know how effective it is.
We don't.
That's, I think, where a lot of the frustration comes from.
And I think people are getting tired of it, and we're getting fatigued from it, and it's because you're right. It doesn't seem on the surface to what we're all watching that the lockdowns are effective. And maybe some of that has to do with the fact that, nobody is following the lockdown.
Right. It would be like getting drafted to a war that the populace believes in versus one that the population thinks is a waste.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I understand criticizing some of the U.S. military's decisions for getting involved in some of the wars that they've gotten involved in and sending troops to some of the places that they've sent troops to. Mm-hmm. But if you truly believe it's a noble cause, I think a lot of people would be behind that. Yeah. It would really scare you. Like, I wouldn't know how to act if I got drafted, but...
Yeah. No, you're right, though. A lot of the anger is coming from the lockdowns and the mismanagement.
It would feel right ethically.
And the government, because there's no denying that the government is screwed up on several parts of this. So.
And if you feel like you're suffering in vain, then that's going to be frustrating.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah. Another question for you. Where'd you live outside of the U.S.? And Canada, let's say. You at least have to go to Mexico. Minimum.
I'm not going to Mexico. Where would I live?
You can say it.
Dude, my father-in-law, he's been fully vaccinated because the way they're doing it. I guess that's the U.S. I was going to say Hawaii.
Oh, true.
That'd be legit. He's living in Hawaii right now, and he's fully vaccinated. I think they both have both shots.
That'd be cool. Yeah, the U.S. is quite a bit ahead
I think
of
it'd be
us.
really cool to experience Asian culture for a period of time. And I don't know how long I'd want to live there. Like maybe not forever, but I would go live.
Hawaii would be a short flight away.
I would go live in Tokyo.
Hawaii, you wouldn't be that far.
Yeah. I think living in Italy would be cool.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's two totally different cultures.
Yep.
But I can see the appeal. You think Hawaii too, maybe?
Would you eat pasta in Italy? Like if it had like eggs and like if it was made with all that stuff?
That's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a tough one. I don't know either.
I'd have to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a fine line.
Because that's something that I need to go to Italy and just eat some food.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to do that.
There is a lot of really good vegan food in Italy. Yeah, it's kind of like a gray line. A blurry line.
Yeah.
I'd be naive to think that, everything I do is great for the environment. I already do things that are, not the greatest for.
You
for
drove
the
here,
planet.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not as binary as people think it is.
No.
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 But I don't know. Maybe as a matter of principle, I wouldn't. I'd have to think about it.
Yeah.
It's also a really great experience.
My travel voucher is still intact. Air Canada was
So you wanted to go on a cruise, right?
no, we were going to go to Cuba right before the pandemic
right.
hit. And then Air Canada's like, okay, you don't get your money back. And then everyone was like, either we get a travel credit or we get our money back. So now we're in this weird limbo where if we want a refund, we have to get it by June. But if we want the travel credit, it will stay there. And we're like, okay, well, we don't need the cash. We'll just wait till we're ready to go down this
100%.
trip. So still have our travel credit, which is nice.
That's nice.
I want to go to Europe.
Gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah, I want to go to Europe.
Yeah. You could not go to a bunch of countries.
Yeah.
Well, time permitting.
I've been to Iceland, and I've got my old hard drive out. I want to re-edit some of the pictures and blow them up.
Didn't mention Iceland in the places you would live
I wouldn't.
list.
I loved going there. I would go again. I
Little
wouldn't
too
live there.
desolate to live there.
Dude, and all the people are so sad. Really beautiful people, though.
I mean,
These are the Vikings, dude. Like
that's the socialist utopia. You go to like a northern, kind of reminds me of like a northern European country.
Mm-hmm. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Iceland is beautiful. If you ever get the opportunity, definitely go check it out. It is wild. And the way we did it too. I mean, it'd be cool if I went there. If we had like, when I have more money, maybe we can go there and do it like super proper. We did it in a van. It was cool.
Which
Living
is
in the back of the van.
Unique experience in and of itself, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
You probably get to see more that way, to be honest.
Yeah. But to like pay for a travel guide to like actually go and see everything that you want to see.
That'd be cool.
We were just running on our own stuff. And so
Right.
we didn't get to see a few things that I really wanted to check out. So just maybe it just comes down to more structure in the itinerary. But yeah. I remember the Airbnb we stayed at before.
It's kind of like the Hawaii to Europe.
It is.
That Hawaii is to Japan.
Yeah.
A stepping stone.
Yeah. Anyway, I would visit Iceland again. I wouldn't live there.
Yeah. Big distinction between where you'd like to see and where you'd like to live.
Mm-hmm.
Huge.
Mm-hmm. I'd also love to see Russia. I would love to go to Russia.
Yeah,
Wouldn't want to
that'd be
live there,
cool.
but I would love to go see it.
Mm-hmm. You mean see Moscow and like the little radius around it?
Yeah.
Because it's so hard to travel to the rest of it.
Gonna have to get a dirt bike.
Oh, man. Yeah. Freezing cold, desolate, small population, no English speaking.
Yep.
That'd be rough. But yeah, Moscow would be cool. I really think South America
Ooh,
would be cool.
Australia, dude.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about them down there.
Mm-hmm.
New Zealand, that would be cool too. I would live there. Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's in between like live/visit for me.
Yeah. Well, kind of. I mean, they're both like off in their own land over there. Australia, they have like some pretty major cities, whereas New Zealand really doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they have Auckland and Christchurch. Maybe one of them is like 1 million population, but at least Australia, Melbourne might have 5 million.
Yeah.
Sydney might have 4 or 5. That I could do, like a little bit more infrastructure, even though most of Australia is just outback,
Yeah.
right?
With the crazy ass spiders and snakes.
Oh man, unbelievable.
Crazy shit that could kill you.
Like you've got the Gold Coast on the west,
Yeah.
and you've got Victoria and Queensland and Sydney and Melbourne on the other side, and then in the middle, nothing.
Yeah.
And apparently, because of the roads and the highway and the outback are so long and boring and hot that people have a lot of like accidents from hallucination and from seeing mirage or from falling asleep.
Wow. Yeah, I can see that.
Could you imagine like a 3-day drive, 4-day drive through nothing but sand?
Be crazy.
And if your car breaks,
you're screwed.
And at night,
because it's a big country.
Oh, it's enormous.
Australia's a big country.
Dude, the outback is enormous.
Yeah.
And imagine pure black at night.
Yeah.
All you can hear is scorpions and spiders and snakes slithering around.
For real. Yep. Kangaroo comes and kicks you in the ass.
That'd be a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Australians are very serious about like their backpacking and camping gear.
For sure.
Every Australian knows how to camp. I feel like.
Yeah, dude. For sure, man. Okay, guys, we're going to end the podcast by saying this. Okay?
Let us know where you'd live.
Where would you live?
One comment, one word.
3 places you want to live other than where you live currently.
You just lost them.
And 3 places you would visit. You don't necessarily want to live there, but you'd like to go visit. Yeah. I'm sure we're all dreaming of post-pandemic cruising around. So if you've made it this far in the podcast, please do that. Either DM us or leave us a comment if you're on YouTube, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the podcast. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.